inserted behind the 1920 data. Okay? Yes, ma'am.
I'm working with the barn.
Good work there. Man does not live like that at all. I want totals at the end of your weekly purchases. I want you to total up the items that you have purchased. I want, you should have something left over. Over the 2 budget years, or 2 or 3 budget years. So 1920, 19, or you do 1928? So there you go. 1920 and 1921. At least did that answer your question? Yeah.
No, you can do it.
That's a great question. I hope you ask me that question when we're talking about 1 through 8. Questions 1 through 8. Are you guys working on 1928? Thank you. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Thank you, staff and students, for awesome proclamation. Teachers, please be reminded that if you have students who are in ISF today, AOC, those students may be
You've done a pretty good job. It looks like you spent $14 and you got $1 left over. $1 every week left over. Good for 1980. That's $1 your screen savings. And $1 right at Yes, yes. Spend your $10. A reminder, I want you to at least finish 1920 and 1931. And do the totals. If you have time, you can do 1928. Now you understand the problem. Tough decisions, right? We're going to talk about how you might strategize and solve your problem. Yeah. That's I'm glad you have that problem.
We have $100.
Yes, you have to. You have to. Yes. Yes, you have to. Okay. We've got 10 minutes. I need for you to stop at whatever point you are right now. And it might be a good idea to take your assigned seats at this point. Please take your assigned seats. We need to talk about questions 1 through 8. And some things you discovered in your purchasing, things you discovered in your shopping. What scene? Assigned seats, please. I will take that chair and I'll take it for you. I got it. Quickly, please. Excuse me. Okay. What, if any, listening please? Have a seat. Focus up here. What kind of problems, if any, did you run into? Major problems. Brittany?
I only had $10, and if I bought food, I only have nowhere to put it, so I had to have a credit first.
So you were faced with the choice of having either a place to live or something to eat, right? And that is for what year?
1931.
1931. What happened before 1931 to create a problem like that?
All things had, all the prices had increased.
Yeah, so let's look at those questions to sort of understand why we're in a difficult situation here. What happened in 1929 that we talked about? October 1929.
They lost $5 million.
$5 billion loss, stock market crash, and unemployment problems began in 1929. Number one, what did you notice about your occupation's wages as the years progressed, Jaquez?
I say the money that we have now is not enough for to buy these stuff so like the apartments and housing.
I don't like being on
That it costs too much and it will leave you not a big amount of stuff to buy these stuff for transportation and food.
Okay, so what I think I hear you saying is the prices began to do what? Rise or fall? Prices began to fall, and wages, what happened to wages? The wages decreased, the prices fell, but the wages, did they decrease faster than prices decreased?
Yes.
Did you begin having some problems in 1932?
Yes, the prices increased.
Okay, that's a good observation for number one to record. What you noticed about your wages was they began to decline. Did everyone's wages decline? Farmers' wages declined. Bankers' wages declined. Assembly line workers stayed the same, right? What does that tell you about the assembly line industry over this span of time, Olivia?
Cars were needed more, and they were cheap because they were able to produce them.
All right. Some people were doing well. Many people weren't doing so well. And it's funny, the bankers who had the highest wages in the beginning were the ones that suffered a significant drop in wages, right? Okay, number two, what did you notice about the price of goods as the years progressed? We've already said that.
Yeah, the prices.
They began to fall. And that's a good thing normally, right? Prices begin to fall, that's a good thing normally, but what happened was wages fell faster than prices did. And we haven't even talked yet about the bigger problem here. Number three, how did pricing affect what wants and needs you purchased? Brittany had a problem, right? You were faced with a difficult situation, having a place to live or having enough to eat. What else, Olivia?
I was going to answer the question.
Please do.
You have to get your needs, the things that you need more, even if you need like food and shelter, which are both needs, but you would need food more than the shelter. So you have to get what you need.
Okay, so even when you're looking at needs, you're faced with food and shelter, which are both needs. You've said that already yesterday. But then you're faced with making a choice between two critical things.
If you were a farmer, couldn't you have just ate the crops that you grew?
Yes, sir, and that's why farmers probably survived probably more easily unless your farm failed. Unless you owed money on your farm. You mortgaged your farm and you owed money and then you lost your farm. Or if the weather changed, as the Dust Bowl, we haven't talked about this yet, but there was a large weather-related problem in the Midwest, in Oklahoma. The weather changed due to bad farming practices also, and the farmland became infertile, so they had to get up and move. So, before we lose the point,
that why farmers are investing money in the other work?
We talked about supply and demand, right? As farmers were producing more and more affects prices how? It drops. Bigger, remember the bowl of dirt, right? What kind of strategies could you use if you're faced with two critical needs and you can't satisfy both? What kind of strategies may you have already used to have your needs met? Good question.
So at my needs, man, I had to figure out how much will it cost per week, and like for food, and which one would be the cheapest price.
So you budgeted and you took a look at, can I get something cheaper? When you go in a supermarket now, you're faced with a lot of choices for a given product, like coffee, for example. When I go shopping for coffee, I'll look at the unit price for coffee. Some coffee is much cheaper than other coffee, and to be honest, they taste kind of the same. So I'm looking for the cheaper price. So smart shopping is one. Somebody back here came up with another strategy, Olivia. What did you and your partners do to save money?
I focus on one subject and they focus on the other things.
But there's one piece that you told me that's not mentioned yet.
How they said you combine your money together, so like when you finish with your part.
Didn't you get a roommate?
Yeah.
Okay, so Brittany's living here alone and she can't get her needs met. And she gets a roommate, you can share expenses and maybe save some money that way, right? Okay, good, good. Number 4, which year would you assume had the best economical situation for your occupation? 1928. Let the good times roll. Boom times, right? Roaring 20s. Stock market has not yet crashed. 1928 seems to be a good year to be alive, right? And then the stock market crashed. And we haven't even yet addressed the biggest problem that some of you are going to have in 1932. Think about that. What problem have we not had to face? As we go through these questions, what problem have we not yet faced up to? Stock market crash, unemployment. Okay. Olivia?
How the wage you get will affect you throughout the year instead of just one little piece.
Okay. Maybe you're unemployed part of the year, right? Okay.
Ms. Ramsey, if you're in the building, please call the front office. Ms. Ramsey, if you're in the building, please call the front office. Thank you.
All right. I want to stop right here. I want to remind you that you're all employed in 1932. Every one of you was employed. And you made your budgets work, or you faced some difficulties and you strategized in order to make your budgets work for you. But then you lost your job. 7 of you in here lost your job. Remember, what was the unemployment rate in 1932 when we looked? What percent was the unemployment? Do you remember?
33.
No, sir. 1932 was 24%. So if I take 24% of you, or 25% of you, that's about 7 of you have just lost your jobs. How are you going to make ends meet now?
I would become a farmer.
Hey, maybe you can depend on your family and maybe not. Maybe you have to get up and move somewhere to join your extended family somewhere else and try to find a job somewhere else, like many people did during this time. Okay? So, difficult choices. The national situation in the United States affected you personally, didn't it? Affected you personally, didn't it? Right? You have to make some tough choices sometimes when something is going on nationally that is out of your control. Right? Okay. That's true then. That's true today. And you may not realize it yet because your parents are making some choices for you. Maybe your parents are facing some of these difficult choices right now. Right? Okay. Good job on this. Put this in your social studies folder, please.